Hello and good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Welcome to our special webinar on the MBA Application workshop. My name is Farid Nordin. I'm the Manager of Strategic Recruitment and Enrollment at the Faculty of Business. Before we get started, I just want to make sure that you can hear me okay and you can see the title slide. Just put in a few words in the question box on your screen to make sure that you can hear me okay so that we can get started. I'm going to ask, okay, don't see anything yet. I'm going to pick on a few people here. Matt or Nina or Suzanne, if you can hear me, can you just type in a few words in the chat area, please? In the question box, rather. Okay, nothing yet. Folks can hear me, right? Just something I just need to know. Okay, Suzanne, how are you? All good. Thank you, Suzanne. That's great. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Now we can move on with the presentation here. I'm just going to move the slide here. So okay, sorry, give me 1 minute. I just need to see this. So thank you again for joining us today. Athabasca University is Canada's online university, and we are proud to welcome a diversity of learners from all over Canada. We respectfully acknowledge that we live and work on the traditional lands of the indigenous peoples of Canada, and we honor this ancestry, heritage, and gifts of the indigenous peoples and give thanks to them. As we gather today, Shannon and I are in Treaty 6, which encompasses of 17 First Nations, including the Dene, Soline, Cree, Nakota Sioux, Saulteaux, and Métis people, and Cam will be able to also acknowledge where she's calling in from today. So again, my name is Farid Nordin. I've been with Athabasca University for over 10 years now in recruitment and admissions, primarily for the business MBA and doctorate programs. So we're happy to have you today. And joining us is Shannon LaRose, who's my colleague who's an academic advisor. Hi, Shannon.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us today and looking forward to walking you through what's required for an MBA application package. Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have a special guest, Dr. Cam Jagdev, who is a professor of project management and strategy at the Faculty of Business. And more importantly, for this presentation, Cam is also a member of the MBA Admissions Committee. So this is a great opportunity to ask Cam about if you have your own questions about your application package. This is a great time to be asking Cam about it. So Cam, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Farid, Shannon, and welcome everyone. I'm located in Calgary, Treaty 7, and it's a pleasure to meet all of you, and we're happy to informally answer any and all questions you may have.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Cam. So just for bandwidth purposes, I'm just going to turn off my video right now, and then just so you can hear me. And oh, thanks, Matt. Appreciate your feedback. So just here's a quick agenda of what we're going to go through today. We're going to do a recap of the benefits of the AU's online MBA program. I will go through the program structure, and then from that point on, Shannon will take you through the routes of entry, including the accelerated pathway, your application package, and we go a bit more detail on these aspects from resume, essays, transcripts. And if we have time, I'll do a bit of a demo on the online application form and a Q&A. But we will be able to do the Q&A throughout this presentation as well. So, and in case you missed our last MBA presentation with Joyce Edmondson Moore, our really brand new minted MBA alumna, feel free to check it out by clicking on the link on the PDF, which is on the screen. You can download it right now to listen to that MBA webinar where we focus more on the general program about the whys, the hows, and the when, time management, how to be successful in the program. So I highly encourage you to listen to that webinar as well as attending today's, so that you can have both perspectives. So check it out, and you can also, like I said, download this presentation by going to the handout section on your screen to download the PDF, and all the links on this presentation is linkable to our website. Okay, let's move on to the benefits of the MBA program again. So this is just a snapshot or a summary of our program. First and foremost, the flexibility of the program. It is an asynchronous program, so you don't have to be in front of your computer at any given time or date. There's no online lectures, so we have actually taken a typical MBA for executives program, and we've changed the pedagogy, how we deliver into online delivery. So what we've created here is quite unique, where we students have the flexibility of doing the courses throughout the week without having to be in front of your computer at any given time or date. The next benefit of the program is it is a cohort-based and paced, because it is a full MBA program, 48 credits, full MBA program. So you are expected to work with your peers, with your academic coaches throughout your MBA journey with us. So it is a paced program with a cohort base, but minus a commute, right? So you don't have to rush to come home to be in front of your computer at any given time. You can actually do it even while you're traveling or anywhere that you may be. Because we are online and we are distance, we're able to attract and retain not only academic advisors from across Canada and even internationally, like SCAM is based in Calgary, but also student body, right? So you'll be learning a lot from your other peers who tend to be in many different areas in their careers, from industries, from oil and gas to insurance to non-for-profit. So that global perspective gives a richer lens, a much richer lens to similar business issues that you will learn from each other. Next benefit is it is a part of a highly supported environment. Even though we are online, we're not working in a vacuum. You have multiple ways of connecting with us, connecting with our peers through our learning management system, or the LMS, where you can connect and exchange information and ideas throughout the program. So keep in mind that you are part of a highly supported environment. Last but not least, you can tailor your own MBA journey. In phase 2 of the program, you have the option of doing an applied project, which is a research paper plus electives, or you can choose to do more electives based on your areas of interest. So with that, I'm just going to jump into the next section here that talks about the program structure. So the MBA program consists of 2 phases. Phase 1 that starts off with orientation, and all the green boxes you see on your screen are the core courses in the program. So in phase 1, there are 6 core courses, starting from strategic management all the way to operations management. And then at the end of that 6 courses, we do have a comprehensive exam to mark the end of phase 1. And the comprehensive exam is self-paced, open book, open text. You have, I believe, 6 days to complete the exam. And it's based on those 6 courses that you had taken based on a case study. So at the end of phase 1, you'll get the Graduate Diploma in Management credential, or the GDM, and that marks the halfway point of the MBA program. And then you go into phase 2, where again you'll do 4 core courses: IT strategy, corporate finance, strategy and organizational analysis, and ethical decision making. Once you're done with the additional 4 core courses, then you have the option of either doing the applied project, which is a 9-credit paper, or then plus electives, which are also 9 credits, or you can do all electives, like I said, based on your area of interest. And we are always updating our electives offerings to reflect what's currently happening in business and in technology, so that you'll be able to get the most out of the electives. And that's a nice way to wrap up the MBA program for you. A couple of notes here. One of the electives needs to be an in-residence elective. So what we mean by that is either the elective for 1 week, you meet face-to-face in a major city in Canada, such as Edmonton, Calgary. We also have in GTA, Greater Toronto area, Vancouver, depending on the course and the time is offered. for 1 week, and that's it. Like that's one time that you meet with your cohort. Or we're now also starting to introduce a hybrid in-residence electives where it is online, so you don't have to travel, but but there is a synchronous component to the in-residence. And you can find out more when you're in the program. We will let you know when the next schedule is coming up, so you can plan accordingly. Okay, I don't see any questions here, or not yet, so we can keep moving. So let's talk about why managerial experience is essential to the AU MBA program. So our program is quite unique compared to the other MBA programs out there, whereby this program really do emphasize on your management experience. And why is that? Because we want to make sure that you as a learner are in the right stage of your career and that have enough real-life examples to enrich your class experiences and for your peers to learn from you and you learning from them, and everybody have the coaches to connect the dots for you. So that's why this program is designed that way, because it is designed for the mid-career level managers, which requires management experience. Another reason is that our program focuses on putting theories into practice. So it's not just learning about theories and how you would be able to implement them, but actually implementing them right now in your current work environment. So putting theories to practice, or like we always say, connect the dots and putting it into practice. And then what you've done from that practice, you bring it back to the classroom to have further discussions, whether that's working or not and why. So that's why managerial experience is important, and we'll go through a bit more details on how to express the management experience that is required in the program. So just to give a bit of a context of why management experience is important to the program, and those are the reasons why. Okay, so I think now I'm going to pass it on to Shannon. But before we go there, I have a question here from Nina. Should the managerial experience be current or the prior managerial experience is acceptable? Great question. It can be both. So if you had significant managerial experience in the past, that is counted for as a managerial experience as well as your current one. So yes, the answer is both. So, and Shannon can go through that in detail when she comes to her part. Okay, Shannon, over to you.
Thank you, Fareed.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll talk about the MBA, just recap the MBA admission requirements. So there's a couple of different routes of entry. So the first would be if you have an undergraduate degree from an accredited post-secondary institution, along with at least 3 years of management experience. The second would be if you come to us with a accepted professional designation, plus at least 5 years of management experience. And we do have a complete list of about 22 professional designations on our website. And then the third way would be if you come to us just based on your management experience alone. So if you can demonstrate that you have at least 8 years of progressive management experience. And the management experience can include managing either people, projects, or budgets, or any combination of those. Okay, we don't require a GMAT to apply. We also have another route of entry, and this would be for folks that hold an undergraduate business degree. So the admission requirements are very specific. So again, it must be an undergraduate business degree completed within the past 10 years. So like a Bachelor of Commerce or a Bachelor of Management degree, for example. You also must have a grade point average of 3.0 or higher for the last 60 credits, along with at least 3 years of management experience. If you think that you might meet these requirements, I would encourage you to visit the accelerated frequently asked questions, because there is some more detailed information on this. And this is a 30 credit program that can be done in approximately 19 months. So, all right. Okay, so what is management experience? So Basically, the required management experience must be with progressive responsibility, and it can include managing people, managing budgets, or managing projects, or any combination of these. So providing a description of your management responsibilities and decision-making authority in these areas is really important for this type of application. So I just wanted to turn to Cam and just ask her, do you want to elaborate on the management experience and the importance of that for the application?
Happy to do so, Shannon. So when we talk about managing people, budgets, and projects, when you're looking at applying anywhere, whether it's to a university or for a new position, you know how everyone's encouraged to tailor the resume accordingly. So similarly, when you're applying to us for our MBA program or GDM, the diploma, we encourage you to tailor your resume accordingly. So speaking as a member of the committee, what we're looking for is that progressive growth and development. So where possible, it's important to quantify what you've done. So if you've managed people, it would be beyond being a member of a team, but then it would be these 3 points that Shannon has outlined here. So that's the human resources aspect. And then managing budgets, but you may not have managed them directly, but if you can think of what you've done in this context, perhaps it has to do with assisting or helping develop. So the more information and detail you can provide, the better, because otherwise, as a member of the committee, then we're asking applicants to go back through our student services department to provide more details. And then managing projects. Here we would be looking at, can you quantify the project? How large was the project? How complex was it? What was it worth? How long did it take? How many people were on the team, or did you manage multiple teams? So this is the kind of detail that helps us get us understanding that you've had that progressive and developmental experience, meaning that it hasn't simply been, I managed 2 people in my functional role as a supervisor for the last 10 years, but over the last 10 years, how has your role evolved? I hope that helps a bit.
That's great, Cam. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So I'm just going to now review the application package and what's required for an application. So we do require a comprehensive resume, and this will outline your management experience. We do require a 1,000-word essay, also 3 letters of reference. And I'll go into more detail on that. We also require official transcripts if you're applying with an undergraduate degree, or if you're applying with a professional designation, we do require a letter of good standing from that organization. And there's an online application form and the application fees as well. And if you're applying with an international degree, we could require a official evaluation of your international degree as well. So there is more information on our website regarding that. Okay, all right, so now we're going to talk about the comprehensive resume. So the resume for the MBA application is different than a job resume. As Cam mentioned, it needs to be tailored, towards this type of application. It is the core of your application package, so it needs to be very clear of your management experience. So for the MBA admissions committee to properly assess the breadth and the depth of your management experience, you really want to focus and identify the primary scope of your management responsibilities and your key deliverables for each position. So here are some suggestions and some tips to do that. So we do encourage folks to use brief bullet points instead of paragraphs, as it's easier to read, and important details won't get get buried in your resume in a paragraph. So brief bullet points. We can accept a resume between 2 to 4 pages. Okay, so you do have room to include this information. It's really important to include the start and end month and years for each position, as this helps the committee calculate your years of experience. So sometimes we'll see folks that'll just put the years, but we really need to make sure that you include those start months and end months. Also, you want to include your employment status. So if it's full-time or part-time, it's good to include that information so we're not guessing if you have a part-time job. And if it is a part-time job, just include the approximate number of hours per week. You also want to avoid using technical jargon or abbreviations, as some of the committee members may not be familiar with the company or the industry that you're talking about, so try to avoid that. One other thing that's a couple other things that are good to include is include who you report to, and we just need their title only, but that's helpful just to kind of understand where you are in the organization. And it's also really helpful to include a brief description of the company that you work for. So just 1 or 2 sentences. And again, this is just helpful information for the committee members to understand what type of industry you're in. All right. All right. So other important things is, as Cam mentioned, including the quantifiable data. So if you have direct reports, you want to include, the number of direct reports. If you have a budget that you're responsible for, including the approximate or the range of the budget. And then for project management, it's nice if you can include a couple of examples of the type of projects that you manage, just to be able to give the committee members a snapshot of the type of work that you do. And you can do that by using those bullet points that were in that, well, actually, yeah, that's the previous slide, where you just want to talk about just a brief description of the project, the approximate value of the project, how many people were involved, the duration of the project, and the outcome or results. So just using those bullet points will give a snapshot of the type of projects that you manage. You also want to make sure you brag about yourself. So be sure to include any significant achievements in your different positions. So that's really important as well. Don't be afraid to do that. And if you have skills or experience with risk management or stakeholder management, team building, mentoring, please include that and expand on that as well. You also want to make sure you include any of your formal education and training, any volunteer roles, any kind of leadership roles in volunteer activities, and also any memberships in professional organizations. That's important to include as well. So I do want to turn to Cam and just ask if you have anything to add to what should be included in the resume and the importance of the resume for this type of application.
Thank you, Shannon. So one thing that comes to mind is that we appreciate how busy you folks are. Full-time works plus home lives, other commitments with family and elder care, you name it, but there's a lot going on. And so sometimes we get so busy doing that we don't take the time to pause and document what we've achieved. And so as you look at applying, it's a wonderful way to think back to what you've achieved and accomplished and showcase what you've done. Because this is an opportunity to put your best foot forward And the other thing I'd like to add is that I think Shannon and Fareed will mention this as well, but they are available to review your applications and offer you any and all tips and suggestions. Thank you, Shannon.
That's right, Cam. I should have added that. Yes, we're happy to provide an informal pre-assessment of your resume, if you will. We can just give you our feedback, and we're definitely not on the admissions committee, but we're happy to help folks with any tips on including that kind of detail that we spoke about. I do want to ask Fareed, actually. Fareed, do you have any tips for folks that might be self-employed, for example, a consultant? What kind of suggestions would you have for them to include in their resume if they have their own business?
Yeah, thanks, Shannon. Yeah, we have seen quite a few who are consultants. I think we always say that, treat it as if you are, with any other organization. Maybe put in your consulting role, at the beginning of your resume or at the top, and then whatever consulting jobs or projects you've done, maybe you can list it under your consulting company, so that way they will show a better progression of when you start your consulting firm. Sometimes people do, long time ago until now. And also, like Shannon mentioned, if there's a few of those consulting gigs or jobs that overlap, put in percentage of when or how much time you spend roughly on each gig, because I know as a consultant you have many things going on, but try to make it more of a linear chronological information or formatting that can help the admissions committee understand your profile. At the end of the day, the resume and whole application package is to showcase your management experience. So make it as easy for them to understand and to follow your career path as easy as possible.
Yeah, that's good advice. Make it easy for us to understand, or the admissions committee to understand, right? So, and I would just add to that, again, the quantifiable data. So if you own your own consulting company, perhaps you can provide, the number of contracts that you have, or a number of clients, and, that type of thing. So, and then I also want to turn back to Cam. Cam, do you have any comments on any type of red flags that admission committee might see in a resume that people should try to avoid?
It's not really red flags as much as I'll try to offer a couple of examples. In the past, we've had applicants come from different professional programs. So, for example, engineers or nurses to offer, or social workers or pharmacists, to offer a couple of examples. But because these individuals are working in functional roles, using their technical backgrounds and other abilities to do their work, that's not considered managerial experience for an executive MBA program. Because when we're looking for the managerial and leadership roles, if you were an engineer and over the years you've got your APEGA designation, but you've also become a project manager, and an engineer doesn't become a project manager as soon as they graduate. Say 5-10 years later, after progressive years of experience as a team lead and then as a project manager, that would reflect someone that we would consider. If you've worked as a nurse on various units, you've certainly developed lots of technical and healthcare experiences. But if over the years you've evolved your role and you have become more than a unit manager, but to become a senior manager handling a portfolio, or the CEO of a long-term care facility, that then gives you another example of progressive managerial experience. In my project management course, where I've got about 30 students right now, I've got one gentleman who's got pharmacist background, but he manages as a pharmacist, but also as a manager for an entire number of hospitals within the area where he works. So that gives you some ideas of progressive experience rather than, say, someone who has finished an undergraduate degree and developed years of experience. But similarly, if you've got your own consulting practice, that may have evolved from starting out with your putting out your own shingles for a consulting practice, but then you've got a number of employees and a number of clients, and you've developed your practice accordingly. I hope that helps a bit.
That's great. Thank you very much, Cam. And I would just add, a couple of notes that I have is, be careful that there's no inconsistencies with dates or titles, or vague descriptions of your responsibilities. So, again, it's really important to put that detail in there for the admissions committee. So, thank you for that. Appreciate that. All right, and so just some time for questions. If anybody has any questions, Freed will let me know.
Yeah, Shannon, yes, I have a few here. So the first one is, if my 3-year AU undergrad is 10 years old, would that be acceptable? So I guess my other question to that is it an undergraduate degree that you had with us 10 years old? Because if it's business, then you're looking at the accelerated route of entry. If not, then you would apply to the standard route of entry. So depending on the, oh yeah, Bachelor of Management, all right, yes. So if it's still within 10 years, so you graduated in 2014, then you should be able to be eligible for the accelerated, but also keep in mind the GPA requirements and at the 3 years of management experience. So yeah. So the 10-year is one, and then the second criteria is the GPA, and the third criteria is 3 years of management experience. But we can definitely take a look at that, Suzanne, when you have a chance. You can just email us. The next question here is from Matt. It is about the, I've already submitted my application for winter intake. However, I wish I had attended this webinar first. Not a problem, Matt. It's never too late. Is it possible to submit or revise the essay after somebody submitted? Yeah, not a problem, Matt. In fact, you can contact our graduate enrollment advisor at fbgradenrolled@athabascau.ca. They can help you. They can use your new version of the essay or resume before it gets submitted to the admissions committee. So please email them at fbgradenrolled@athabascau.ca and say that, I'm updating my essay. Here's the updated version. Please include that in my package before it goes for review. So hopefully that answers your question, Matt. Yes, you will have that in before October 15th. That is fantastic. October 15th is our deadline. So yeah, that would be great if you can get it in before that time. Okay, I think that's a question so far. Shannon, are you ready to move on to the next one? You're ready. Okay, let's do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so the next component of the application package is the essay. And so the essay is 1,000 words, and it's an opportunity to showcase your management experience and to tell your story. So you have an opportunity to reflect on your career when you're responding to the 4 questions, and it actually connects the dots back to your resume. So you want to take full advantage of writing the essay. So these are the 4 questions that are required to answer, and that they're also on the application on our application website. It's really important to stick to the 1,000-word limit as best that you can, and be sure to proofread your essay before submitting it. You don't want to send your essay in with some silly little typos, so just make sure that you take the time to proofread it, and spell check is a wonderful thing. So I do want to turn to Cam and just just ask you, what is the committee looking for when they're reading the essay, and also the importance of the essay for the application package.
Thank you, Shannon. So the essay is pretty much a standard requirement across the board in many universities. We even use it in our doctoral program. It's an opportunity for you to tell your stories, if you like. We often read essays where someone has chosen to describe a struggle that they've had, if you will, and then how they've overcame it and what they've achieved since then. Others use this as an opportunity to showcase how their career has evolved or taken a turning point in terms of what they've decided to do with their career. Some use it as an opportunity to describe how the work that they do is it's like a vocation. It's so meaningful to them, and how they think that they are making a difference, and rightfully so, in the lives of others. And so then they present their essay that way in terms of turning points, the responsibilities they've had, and what has impacted their management and leadership abilities. So, and it is a 1,000-word limit, because if we didn't put a limit to it, we'd get everything from, say, 50 words to a couple of thousand. And one of the reasons we ask for a limit here is that it's an opportunity to get your points across concisely in your own words, and written in a professional manner, because that's really what's the expectation that we will be looking for in our 4-credit courses. I hope that helps a bit, Shannon.
Yes, that's great. So, your business writing skills and how you communicate your ideas, and like you said, being concise, because you only have 1,000 words. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Cam. Appreciate that. All right. The next thing is official transcripts. So if you're applying to the program with an undergraduate degree, we do require the official transcripts to be sent from your post-secondary institution. So Athabasca University does accept transcripts shared through MyCreds, and this is a secure and quick way to share your post-secondary transcripts with other institutions. So I would encourage you to use that if you can. Now, if your transcripts can't be shared through MyCreds because some universities aren't part of the program, then you can ask them. You can ask your institution to email them to us directly at fbgradenroll@athabascau.ca, or they can be mailed, and the address is highlighted on this slide as well. So it's something I just want to point out too, for your transcripts. You can do this anytime prior to officially applying. So we encourage folks to do this early, and then once we receive the documents, we just file them, and then we'll match them up with your application once you officially apply. So it's something to do anytime in advance, and then you don't have to worry about it. And also, if you're applying with an international degree, as I pointed out earlier, your educational qualifications may require an independent assessment. So international transcripts can be assessed by the following organizations that are on the slide. And please allow time for this. Evaluations can take, anywhere a month or 2 months. It just depends. So you do have to allow time for that to happen. Another important thing is if you are applying with the designation, the CPA designation, or the supply chain management professional designation, we do require the official transcripts for that for that application as well. And I think that's all I wanted to point out there. I do want to turn to Cam again and just ask you what the importance of the transcripts, and what is the committee looking at when they're receiving transcripts from folks that may not have a business degree, for example. It might be a Bachelor of Arts or another one. What are you looking for when looking at
Thank you,
transcripts?
Shannon. So when we look at your package, we look at it holistically. So please don't sweat it or worry about what's happened in the past in terms of your transcript and perhaps your GPA, if you will. We're looking at the entire package. So Shannon and Fareed have mentioned the resume, the essay, the reference letters, and the transcripts. So each of us as a member of the committee will go through the online application process and read through all the material provided by each applicant. And it's a double-blind process whereby I don't see what the other committee member is deciding on each applicant. We do them independently. And so I look at the entire package, not just the marks. That actually ends up being one of the last things I look at because I want to try to get a sense of the entire best foot forward picture that you're putting forward to us.
Great, thank you. That's great, thanks so much. All right, and lastly, we're going to talk about the reference letters. So, all right, so as I mentioned earlier, we do require 3 letters of reference for the application. So you can choose to submit 3 business reference letters or 2 business reference letters and 1 academic reference letter. So it's whichever you prefer. And basically the reference letters should be written by individuals that know you very well and can comment on your management skills and experience and your readiness for graduate studies. So we can accept letters from your current employer, preferably, someone that you report to or hire, or it can be from a peer. You can also reach out to a previous employer as well. We cannot accept letters from family or friends, so just keep that in mind. We do have reference letter guidelines that you can give to your referees, so their PDFs are available on our website, and we encourage you to do that because it will help them understand what kind of information to include in their letter. Reference letters can be emailed directly to us from by your referees at any time prior to officially applying. So again, the same thing as the transcripts. You can do this nice and early and then know that it's done and you're not scrambling to get them written. And I always like to say, it's difficult to ask someone to write a letter, but even harder to ask them to hurry up. So give your referees lots of time because everybody's busy. And then also, if you're applying with one of the professional designations, then we would only require 2 letters of reference and then 1 letter of good standing from that organization. So just remember that. And I think that's all I need to say about that. I did want to ask Fareed, if someone's self-employed and you can't ask your family or friends to write a letter, can you provide examples of who they could ask to write business reference letters?
Sure, thank you, Shannon. Yeah, you could ask your clients, your suppliers, your vendors, whomever you feel that they can attest on your readiness to the MBA program at this point in your career. Because again, as Cam mentioned, the application package is viewed holistically. So it has to be connected back to your managerial experience, your career. So anyone that can, really attest that, why you're ready, or not why, but that you are ready to do the MBA in this time in your career. And also, as Shannon mentioned, the guidelines do ask specific questions from your referees. I think one of them is the strengths and weaknesses of your leadership and management skills. So definitely download that reference guidelines and forward it to them so that they can format the letters to what the committee is looking for. But yeah, long story short, to answer to Shannon's question about if you're a consultant, then I would approach, your vendors, your clients. Your clients will probably be the best because, obviously, you have a working relationship with them, or even, somebody like your legal advisor can also be considered as a good reference. Hopefully that helps.
No, that's great. Even, like your bank manager, perhaps your accountant, again, somebody that knows you very well if you're running your own business. So, yeah, and then I want to ask Cam if you could comment on the importance of reference letters for the application package. Why are they so important?
Oh, I really like this question, Shannon. You know how you may have had a burning desire to do a graduate degree for years, but you haven't told a lot of people, or you're shy about it, or you're nervous about making such a big decision. When I'm writing a reference letter and we get asked all the time, and it's a huge time commitment on our part, I want to make sure that I'm helping my students put their best foot forward. And I know I'm sounding like a hackneyed person saying that again, but I need to understand where that student is coming from in terms of what they're applying for, say it's a scholarship, and why it's meaningful to them and what they've achieved. I may know that student and the abilities, but I want to really help them showcase their abilities. And so when you're applying to our MBA program, sometimes when we see substandard applications, these are reference letters where someone has written a couple of paragraphs, but they're so generic, so you can't tell that this reference letter reflects the resume and the essay that I'm also reading as part of that same package. But when we're reading reference letters that are aligned and consistent with the resume and the essay, and I get that whole complete picture, and that reference letter between 1, 2, and 3 referees are all consistent to say so-and-so is an exemplary role model, mentor, leader, whatever the case may be in a certain area, but we see that consistency and glowing terms about this individual, then we can tell too that this referee understands what this person has achieved. And so I would encourage you that when you're asking for referees, pick up the phone, please, talk to them, have a virtual meeting with them, and help them understand what you're applying for and what's involved in the program, and the tip sheet that Shannon and Fareed have regarding the reference letters, so that your referees can help you put your best foot forward and that you can shine by the time we see your application. Thanks, Shannon.
That's excellent advice. Thank you, Cam. Thank you very much. All right. And then lastly, are the fees. So to apply to the MBA program, there is a $233 application fee. And if you are applying with one of the designations, there's an additional $348 transfer credit evaluation fee for the CPA and the SCMP designation. So the MBA for accountants or the MBA for supply chain managers. And then if you are accepted into the program, there would be a $913 program admission fee, and that's payable if you are accepted into the program. All right. And I'm going to see if there's any questions regarding any of the items in the application package.
Yeah, thanks, Shannon. I have a question here about the IQAS, the international evaluation. So for the transcript from ICAS or IQAS or WES, where should they upload it? I believe they have to request it, right?
That's a great question. So you can't upload it on the application form. They would have to You would, for example, if you had an official evaluation done by WES or one of those other organizations, you would
Yeah.
have to contact them and ask them to send the official evaluation to us directly. So it can be emailed to the FB Grad Enroll email address, and that's how we would need to receive the official evaluation.
Yeah, thank you. Another question here is transcript for professional designations such as a CPA. Do we require their transcript and the letter of good standing?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
For the CPA, yes, and the SCMP designations only. We do require the official transcripts plus the letter of good standing.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, they can both be emailed to that FB Grad Enroll address.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Good job here. Okay, let's move on. Oh, then it's my part now.
Now I'm turning it back to Fareed.
Back to me.
Okay,
Thanks,
thanks. Yeah.
Okay, we have about 9 minutes left in our session. So again, I just want to kind of briefly show you the application form. I don't think we have time to do a demo, but it is captured here. So the online application form is on our website, and it's different than our undergraduate application process. So if you're familiar with the AU application form or procedure in the past, gonna put it aside because you do have a special way to apply to the MBA program. So pretty much, I'm just gonna, I think I do have a bit of time here. I can go to the website. So you can see, I think you can see the portal. So this is our homepage of the MBA program at AU. So if you scroll down to graduate application process here, so all that we talked about today is all here, right? So from the resume format, the references, and here you can download the guidelines, your essay transcripts. So if you go to the online form, if you open that, and that's the online application form, which takes you to a different portal, which I have here. There we go. Yeah, so you can, so for those who are new, you have to create a new account. So you can click here and it will give you, information on how to create the account. So because I already started one, so I can always go back in and update my application. So just switching back to the slides here. So if you're applying with your undergraduate degree plus 3 years of management experience, or one of the professional designations plus 5 years of management experience, you do need to select the MBA as a program. But if you're applying with only based on your 8+ years of management experience, no degrees, no designations, then you choose a graduate diploma in management. So that's important to make that two distinction. So either the MBA accelerated or the GDM. GDM is only based on those who are applying with an undergrad without an undergraduate degree, but we have 8 years of management experience. And then you then select the term that you want to apply for. So again, based on our flexibility of the program, we offer 3 intakes a year. We're currently accepting applications for the winter 2025 or the January 2025 start date. So that's what you select. But you can also, apply if you feel that you want to start in the springtime in May, select spring, and the next one after that will be in August of 2025. So yeah, so this is what the form looks like and how you can enter your information. So again, if you need assistance with your application, if you have a technical support or password issue, you need to reset your password on the application form, please email our IT help desk at HDQ, that's Harry David Queen, at fb.athabascau.ca. Then they can help you in resetting your MBA portal application passwords. And I think like somebody had mentioned before, if you had submitted your application but wish to update your resume, your essay, feel free to contact one of our graduate enrollment advisors at fbgradenroll, all in one word. So again, it's fbgradenroll at athabascau.ca, and they can help you with your new version of your essay or your resume. So these are the two key emails for you to contact should you have any issues with the application. So as mentioned before, we offer 3 intakes a year. So January 2025 is the next one, and the application deadline is October 15th. And I just want to include this one last part of the in the presentation. I know financing is a big question that we always have from prospective students. So just to let you know that we do have further information about how to best fund your MBA program from the Canada Job Grants Program, which is provincial. Unfortunately, not all provinces have the same amount of funding or even open for funding depending on a year. So feel free to check in with your respective provincial government on their grant program. Self-financing is sometimes it is the best way to go. You can draw on from your lifelong learning plan from your RSP, or approach your banks on a low interest student lines of credit for graduate programs. Employee sponsorship is another big way that you can get funding for your programs. And there's always scholarships and awards that you can apply once you're in the program. Keep in mind, some scholarships and awards do not fund the full program, but it can help, $1,000 here and there, so that can always help. So yeah, do as many research as you can out there. There's lots of scholarships and awards you can apply for. And we also have a graduate funding web page that focuses on the MBA and doctorate students. So feel free to check out the opportunities there for funding and awards and scholarships as well. And you can also see the breakdown of our fees on our tuition and fees webpage. Again, so another service that we offer is if you're not sure about your management experience, you have any questions about the program, or just want to talk to someone, we are here for you. So our email is business-support@athabascau.ca. Again, our email is business-support@athabascau.ca. And that comes to the end of our presentation. So yeah, so feel free to let us know if you have any questions. We are here to help you out.
I have something to add, Fareed. Just two things. If a person applies and they're accepted, you would have the option if you wanted to change when you start. So what I'm trying to say is you're not locked in to starting in January. If you feel like you want to start in May instead, then you have that option to change that if you're accepted. So I just wanted to add that. And also just the timeline. So once a person does submit an application, just the timeline on when you'll hear back from us. So usually it's between 7 to 10 business days. So you would receive an email back from our graduate enrollment advisor. So I just wanted to add that. All right.
Oh, that's great. Okay, we have a couple of minutes here. I have a few questions here. First question is, I graduated 12 years ago in 2017. Do I still need the transcript, or is it required if I'm a CPA and have the needed experience? So do I still need to transcript? Yes, if you're applying with an undergraduate degree, we still need the transcript and the CPA transcript as mentioned. And again, if your degree is an international degree, then we need the official evaluation to be sent to us. So the letter of good standing, Shannon, does it need to come from that body? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're a CPA, if they have the CPA designation and an undergraduate degree, we would require 3 years of management experience.
Yes.
If they didn't want to order their official transcripts, undergraduate transcripts, then they would have to demonstrate 5 years of management experience. So I guess it's up to them. But it would be better to probably order your undergraduates. I think that would be a stronger application.
Yeah, I agree as well. Yeah. Another question here is, do I need to submit my MBA application first and ask my referee to send the reference letters afterwards? Shannon, you want to answer that question?
Well, you can submit your application first if you like. We have
Yeah.
to receive that by October 15th, but then
Yes.
you should have those letters kind of ordered, you know, about the same time. They should be arriving. So yeah, I would reach out to, again, like Cam mentioned, you know, you want to reach out to these folks early and give them time to write you a good reference letter. So yeah.
And also to add too, like, you know, we will not, you know, the admissions committee will not review your package until we receive everything, right? So
Yes, that's a good point.
yeah,
Yes.
so the reference letters needs to come in before the complete package will be reviewed. So it is in your best interest if you want to start in January, you know, even though we say October 15th is the deadline, but you can submit your essay and resume and pay the application fee first. But as long as the reference letters comes in, again, it doesn't have to be on 15th, maybe it can be lapsed a few days. And then once we receive everything, only then it goes for review. But if you wait too late,
Right.
then you may miss the cutoff, and then you have to be considered for the next intake, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and if you, once you submit your official application,
Yeah.
if you are missing anything, so if you're missing, you know, transcripts or letter of good standing or any reference letters, our graduate enrollment advisors would get in touch with you and let you know what they're missing. So yeah, it's good to start on all of those components, you know, as early as possible, and yeah.
Yeah, now talking about reference letters, here's another quick question about the format of letters. Are the reference letters via an online portal or manually written in my reference? So the answer to that is, yeah, they would have to write a formal letter. We don't have the online portal just yet, but so at this time, we do require them to write an actual letter on the letterhead, preferably signed electronically. I'm just going to bring you the guidelines here so you can see that this is what you're looking for, right, for the committee. So it needs to be on the letterhead, signed and dated, and these are the questions. So yes, they need to be written manually. We can apply and defer start date, correct? I'm worried about my degree expiring since I've been. Yeah, so you can, oh yeah, in that case, if your degree is coming up in the 10-year for the accelerated, I would highly encourage for you to apply now while it's still within the 10-year window, and then you can always defer your start date. So that's not a problem. The key thing here is make sure you submit everything within, you know, so you don't have the lapse expiry date, because then you're looking at the standard route of entry. So apply now, and you can always defer your start date, I believe, up to 1 year later. So hopefully that helps. And again, I think that's also answered. Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, that's good advice for the accelerated. There's no exceptions made to the admission requirements, so you can't apply with an 11-year-old degree.
Yeah.
For the accelerated.
Yeah. So I would submit your application now, and then you can always defer your start date. Okay. I think that's it. And I have another question. Yeah, so if I apply for the January start, can I change the move to the next intake? Absolutely. If you're successful, then you know you'll hear from our graduate enrollment advisors, and they can help you start the next time. Yes, Suzanne, you can definitely book a session with either Shannon or I. You can send us an email at business-support, and we'd be more than happy to have a further conversation with you. Not a problem. Okay, I know we went over time a bit, so thank you, Shannon, and thank you, Cam, and thanks again for all those who are listening today. We really appreciate your time. So thanks so much.
Thank you for joining us, and thanks, Cam, for your great tips and insights.
Yes.
Sure. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.